Alright, so you're by yourself and you don't know what you're doing? It's not that hard, bub, and tacos are the best thing to eat. Take your metal pan here and put it on a low heat, especially if you got this big old frozen chunk of meat. You want to simmer, bub. You don't want to burn. You want to relax and wait your turn. Let's slice this bad boy open and get this started. You don't season your meat until after it's cooked. What we're dealing right here is ground turkey. If you have a frozen package of ground beef, tofu, or any of the other meat substitutes that you want to use, this is your protein. And right now it's frozen. We're going to stick it in here on low simmer. We're going to put our pan over it to let all the meats become malleable. Do you know what that word means yet, bub? Malleable. While we're sitting here also, we got our taco shells and our taco seasoning. If you don't have one of these, bub, this is the key. Salt, pepper, a little bit, garlic powder, a lot of it. Cumin, a lot of it. So much so that we're out, bub. And this right here is a very powerful way to pack a punch into your flavor. Onion powder. Onion powder. Make sure it's powder, bub, and not salt. You got all the salt you need right here. Or if you don't have this, but you do have this, use a little bit of that and a lot of this. Those are your flavors, bub. Let's see how I did. We'll read the back of this package. This one has chili pepper, salt, spice, onion powder. I don't know why cornstarch is in there, bub, but there it is. And who knows what silicone dioxide is? It's an anti-caking agent. Basically what that means is these things sit on the packages. They sit inside a transport. They sit inside of your air-conditioned environment. And when you get something like silicone dioxide in your meal, bub, is it healthy? I'm sure there's studies, but that's why the FDA is around. The Food and Drug Administration. You can also make these if you wanted to, bub. But don't ask me. I haven't learned that yet. It does say it's a lined corn flour with palm oil and salts. Either way, I'm going to move forward. And if it's good enough for me, it should be good enough for everybody, I guess. What we're doing over here is waiting for our pan to warm up. This takes time, kiddos. When I say kiddo, I'm talking to my niece. And my niece only. She's not a kiddo anymore either. She's a beautiful grown woman. Just because I call her kiddo doesn't mean you can, bub. Let's wait for this to simmer down. And if you have patience today, you'll get to the end of the video with me, the Wolverine. Until then, listen to some Beethoven and learn about something called public domain, everybody. Also, learn about performances. If I perform a piece of sheet music, it's created by somebody as brilliant and as deaf as Beethoven. Why would I not be able to use that on my own, bub? Let's flip this big old chunk of meat over there. Show you what's happening to the bottom. So we're starting to get a little defrosted on some of these pieces. It'll happen all over, bub. But the chunk is still frozen in the middle. You can also stick it in the microwave if you want. But we don't use microwaves unless we're reheating food. If you're cooking with a microwave, you better figure out a different way. Clean your kitchen up. Learn how to use your stove, bub. Let's get our taco shells ready. Those fans of the outdoor kitchen may remember this guy right here. This was all you saw on the screen. It's a big old piece of metal, bub. It retains heat really well. Now that I'm not kicking the camera everywhere, I feel like my viewers have grown. For that, I thank you. If you don't know what you're doing either, you gotta find this thing on the box. Not on here. Usually it's on this. There we go. If you don't know what you're doing, the directions are always on the box right here. We're looking for a 325-degree oven right now, bub. See how we're doing on our turkey meat. You don't usually want to cut into your pans like this either, bub. Usually what you want to do is get a cutting board, or else you'll scratch up all your equipment. Just take this big old hunk of meat here now that it's starting to defrost a little bit. And we'll cut it up into chunks. It'll make it easier for it to defrost. We're also doing this with ground anyways. You don't have to worry about the integrity or the shape, nor the service. If I was doing this with chicken, bub, I'd get in trouble by my line cooks. My expo would kick it back to me. But if I'm doing it to step on ground beef, ground turkey, tofu, or any of the rest, you'll be A-okay. In one of the next episodes, bub, I'll teach you how to speed defrost chicken. Happy Valentines Date, everybody, as well, bub. I hope that you found your true love today and every day in the future. And if not, keep your chin up and keep working hard. Every dog has its day, and every day has its way of being forgotten. So forget about the failures. Learn from your mistakes, bub. Move forward in the proper direction. Alright, let's throw this bad boy back over there and defrost this a little bit longer. Let's grab a new cutting board. Let's clean our surface first. We'll use the pink towel today, bub. If you're working around a bunch of food and you're trying to clean, don't spray next to the food. I'm going to go off camera down here, away from the food. We're going to spray it into the towel. Like so. This is a disinfectant. It just gets rid of bacteria. If you're using lettuce, make sure to pre-wash as well. Who's your favorite classical composer, bub? I wish all my buddies in that Oppenheimer team the best of luck in the upcoming Academy Awards. I heard these people that work for Marvel Studios are pretty talented, huh? They must know what they're doing. Maybe we can get Christopher Nolan to direct one of my movies, bub. We're gonna wash this lettuce real quick. All right, all we did there was rinse it off so that there's no dirt in our lettuce. Especially if you're using romaine, bub. You gotta look at the insides of the stalk to make sure there's no dirt. Unless you like eating dirt. If you're trying to impress your Valentine's date this evening, I don't imagine that he or she wants a bunch of dirt in their mouth. And all we're doing right now is drying our lettuce off with a clean towel, bub. Alright, now that we've defrosted our meats, we're gonna turn the heat up a little bit. We're gonna get to cooking. Let me slice up all my delicious lettuce here. You wanna know how to do this properly, bub? You gotta keep your fingers tucked, or else you might slice one of them off on accident. Grab your stuff like this, line it up to where you need to go, and tuck your fingers underneath. Allow the knife to do the work, bub. All you're doing is shredding lettuce. There's no reason for your blood to go out all over it. I learned how to do this when I was a kid, bub. It didn't hurt me much. Learn the wrong way. But for some of you, there's no coming back from a face injury or a finger being sliced off. Use caution around these things, bub. And learn how to do them properly. We're going to take all of our lettuce and stick it in the fridge so it's nice and crisp when we're ready to come out. Your total time on a cook for tacos, bub, should be anywhere from 20 to 25 minutes, start to finish. And if you keep this on a low simmer, you always got to be better than burning it. Also, if you're using a lot of ground beef, it has a lot of fatty content in it. You're going to want to drain the fatty contents. We're using a 93% lean, 7% fat ground turkey, though, today. And when you do that type of stuff, there's not a lot of fat content in it. If you're trying to make a burger, you want an 80-20. If you're trying to make some nice tacos, you probably want a 90-10. Or if you want to grab some turkey, most of the turkeys I've seen are 93% lean with 7% fats. And if you think skinny actors don't have fat in their bodies, Bob, you got another thing coming. We just eat the right type of fats. That's why most of us are attracted to fish, salmon, mahi, things along those lines. Avoid the tilapia, bub. That's for your fish tacos only. It's cheap for a reason. You don't have to have a lot of money to eat healthy, though. Just eat the things that grow. Fruits, vegetables, flour. If you're eating a lot of flour and breads, and you remove that from your diet, bub, you're gonna have a tough time. Degrade that down slowly. Look into all of the Winston-Salem stuff that happened. And you'll probably identify that some people were saying it was because of a bad grain supply. I was there, bub. It wasn't fun. And yeah, I gotta eat. We're getting a little closer to being done on our turkey meat. Our taco shells will be 5 minutes in the oven. And we usually save that for when the meat is done. We're gonna need to add some water along with our seasoning. And we'll let the browned meat simmer a little bit longer. If you need to know how much water you need, bub, the directions are usually on these packages. It says right here, we're looking for 3/4 cup of water. And this is usually 1 pound of meat. Or whatever protein substance you're gonna use. Okay, bub. Like I said, if you had a bunch of ground beef in here and it was really fatty, drain it first. We're gonna add our water and our seasoning. We're gonna stir in all these delicious seasonings. The reason why it's orange is from the paprika. If you don't know what paprika is, it's basically just peppers. The same as poblanos and the same as chipotle. Look at the pictures on your seasoning, bub. That's what's making it red. And you can smell the onions from a mile away. Alright, bub, we're gonna let that cook some of the water down. We're gonna put our taco shells into the oven here. If you don't know how to use an oven, don't. Just know that everything inside here is very hot and you're not allowed to touch it. Always touch your towel on the handle, bub. If you don't know what I'm talking about, grab a kitchen towel and throw it over your oven handle. Only touch that part. The box says we're gonna let these cook for 6 minutes. We're gonna let this boil down. If you're preparing for a family, make sure your hands are clean or use a knife. Slide this all the way over to the side. Add any other seasonings that you want to bring on. Sour cream, tomatoes, any of that stuff. I'm not eating that right now, bub, so I'm just going to add some of our Mexican cheese. And guys, if you're cooking for your lady for the first time tonight, don't be nervous. It's not hard to cook tacos. I'm pretty positive that she appreciates the sentiments more than anything. And no matter what, gentlemen, do the dishes yourself this evening. If your heat is too hot, you'll know because you'll start to get burn marks on the pan. Keep stirring, bub. And the more you work on this stuff, the more you'll be able to do these types of maneuvers. Woo! That's just one way to do it, bub. My favorite dating tradition is to teach your lady how that goes as well. Tell her to make a mess, but give her chef coat first. Let's put it back in the fridge until we're ready. Put this down to the low setting because we're done. We're going to replace our wooden spatula with a spoon. Make sure when you serve, you put a heat distributor down so you don't burn your cutting boards. Usually cork or cloth. Either way, make sure you don't burn the people around you as well. If you got a big old solid chunk of cheese that you need to slice down and shred as well, go for it, bub. And just know also, if you leave a metal spoon on the side of a metal container like this, the spoon will get hot. So don't do it. With 30 seconds left, we're going to transfer all of our taco meat over to our heat distribution area. If you want to use a towel to grab hot stuff out of the oven, you can, but make sure it's not wet, bub. We're all set to enjoy our meal. And at this point in time, all you gotta do is call your family over for dinner. Enjoy your meals, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. And if you're looking for the easiest thing to cook your family, to tell them how much you love them, this goes a long way. We have our cheese, our lettuce, our taco meats, and our finished shells. Until I get a chance to show you how to cook again soon, bub. Thanks for watching. This has been the Wolverine cooking you some dinner. Happy Valentine's Day.